Good evening, YouTube. DutyRon back again with another video. Tonight we are going to speak about the live updates on the London Bridge terrorist attack today. We can label that today confirmation now from authorities that the suspect, the perpetrator, as I like to say, the perp, had terrorism ties from in his past. So we're going to get started right away on this. I'm going to wait for a few people to gather on the broadcast. Hello. First joining in, Yulfa. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. JS Slots. Hey, how are you? Jana, thank you so much for being here. I know I can always count on you. Thank you so much for coming on in to help with moderation if need be. I'm just trying to find the live stream here. Where are we? I'm going to share it on out. Hey, good afternoon, Frog Push. Good evening, Margie, good to see you, Margie. Emily, Flolita, Angel, thank you so much for joining. All right, guys, so much love from Florida. Thank you, Darlene. Guys, I went live earlier today. We had very preliminary information. We have a male suspect. I don't know I don't know where he is from. I know that there's probably reports out there, but we didn't get any confirmation of his place of birth. But he is Usman Khan. I won't mention his name again. 28 years old, with a very long arrest record dating back as far as when he was 20 years old. He was jailed in 2012 for terroristic ties to Al Qaeda. He was also arrested in 2010 for plotting to blow up the stock exchange over in the UK. So this is not a good guy. This is definitely somebody who I would, as a police professional, label him as a terrorist. He was paroled in December, just a year ago, 2018, and he was released out into the public. I don't agree with that. I think that he shouldn't have been walking the street. And there's many that will agree with me that he shouldn't be out there. Hello, Bridget Parker, all the way from Australia. I hope your dog is doing well. I didn't get any updates. I didn't hear. No news is good news. So we'll talk again on another time about it. So this suspect was paroled. He had, what I understand, a parole ankle bracelet, as we call it here in the States. And he was attending a conference from the university for I think it was it was a conference for rejoining inmates after they do their prison sentence back into society. I don't remember the exact wording, but he was at a conference he attended earlier in the morning. He attended the early session, and he was got up and just inside that conference started stabbing people. And I think that's where our victims were, inside that conference. And then he went out from that conference onto the London Bridge and was walking the bridge. And a couple of inmates who were also attending that conference, as you guys seen, were kicking and beating him on the bridge. They were the Good Samaritans that went and apprehended this perpetrator. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos that'll, I'm not going to show you the video of the violence. I did see it. It's not something that, if you suffer from PTSD or anything like that, that you should probably be watching. It did show the actual police shooting him. It didn't show it up close, but it did show it. It's something that I can take and handle. I wouldn't recommend any of you guys going and watching it. Hello, Sophia. Good to see you. Thank you, Emily, Jana, all of my good friends here. Emily Falulita, Erin Leahy is in the building. Is Sass Marie here? I missed her in the earlier broadcast. She came in and I didn't see her. So if she's joining, I want to say hello. So those heroes, as you saw on some of the footage, they were kicking them and beating them and holding them down. And then the police, once they came on the scene, I'll give you my synopsis. The police came in and they grabbed the civilians and took them off of the perpetrator. And then he ripped open his jacket and showed the black suicide vest. Now, granted, the vest was a hoax. It was a fake. But what were the police supposed to do? I'm not going to show it, Jan. You know me better than that. I'm not going to show it. Hello from the Netherlands. The perpetrator, once the police got all the people off of him and he saw them with the guns on him, he opened up his jacket and showed the vest that he was wearing. And the police had no choice. It was almost like, what do? Do they wait until he detonates it and kills other people around? Because there was a ton of people around, including one guy who took the knife away from him. So the police had no other choice but to open fire and kill him. They did that to protect life, to protect innocent people's lives. Had they not opened fire and killed him and he detonated a device, we'd all be sitting here now saying, why? Why didn't the police take him out? You know, so they did what they had to do. There was no way for them to determine whether that was a live device. But once he ripped open his clothing and exposed the suicide vest, they had to. If you're new here into my live stream, please hit the subscribe button somewhere down here. Hit the notification bell so you will get all of my notifications when I go live. I'm about to show you some early press conferences and news footage, and then I'll go from the early reports to the latest report that I have. So I'm going to segue over to another screen. I can't stay live really long, but basically, guys and girls, I got so many questions and comments in my comment section about why did the police have to shoot this guy and kill him? Why couldn't they have taken him alive? And my answer to that is simply, if they waited, we could have seen tons of more bloodshed. It's bad enough we lost 2 innocent people's lives. Police are not there to wait to see if this guy detonates this device. It's not their job to do that. It's their job to protect life and property, and that's what they did. So I commend the police officers for what they did. I commend the civilians for what they did. I do not agree with the justice system over there. I have a big problem with this guy who is a known terrorist. He's a known... Listen, if you're from the Middle East or anywhere and you are Islamic, that doesn't mean you're a terrorist. Let me put that straight right now. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, anybody who is practicing the faith of Islam doesn't necessarily mean they're violent people. It's the radical people in all religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islamic. If you are a radical, then that's a whole other thing. And that's what this person was. He was a radical Islamic terrorist. And I'm not afraid to say that because he showed every sign of it. And at the end of the day, folks, these are the people who want to kill everybody but their own. And that's what makes them radical, and that's what makes them a danger to society. There's plenty of good Muslims. I have friends, and I know many police officers who I worked side by side with that were Muslim, and they were great people. My next door neighbor is Muslim, and he is a freaking 100% total gentleman. I would lock arms with him and break bread with him any day of the week. Okay? He had an ankle tag on. I confirmed that in the beginning of the in the beginning of my broadcast. He did have an ankle bracelet on. He was being monitored, but he was approved by the powers that be to attend that conference. I don't know why he was approved to attend that conference. That's the baffling thing to me. Guys, let me share it out real quick because I didn't do that. Let me share onto Twitter before I get going. Let me tweet it out, and let me create a public post, if you guys don't mind. Talk amongst yourselves. Hi, Addie's mom. Hi, Ellen McFadden. Good to see you. All right, let me create a public post. Okay, that's it. Simple and easy. Thank you for sharing, guys. If you haven't shared onto your social media, if you're not following me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all one word, DutyRon. All right, guys, let's watch this footage. During the course of these news footage that I show you guys, I won't be engaging in the comments. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. You guys can send comments to me, but I'm not going to talk during it. I want you guys to pay attention to see what see what I did to put together this presentation for you. And this basically was my view of what went down today. And basically what went on today is that the judicial system failed the people. Gavin Costa, good to see you, my brother. Unfortunately, London is bad for people doing that. I've been in London 3 times, and every time evacuated from the area of bomb scare. There you go. Okay, so it doesn't mean that London is a horrible place to be. Jan, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super love. I appreciate that, Jan. Thank you for coming in, always supporting my channel. I love and respect you. All right, guys, here we go. So I'm going to show you a couple of quick segments, and then we'll get right back into a little bit of combo. So let's roll the video.
Appears that passers-by have intervened and held down the man carrying this out. Very soon, within perhaps 20 minutes, armed police were on the scene. The people restraining him, who appeared to be in a fight with this man, pulled off, and several shots are fired by the armed officer at the man who is on the ground. It's unclear at this point if he was killed or not. The police say that they have detained a man, but no confirmation yet of whether he was killed. In the meantime, the police have been evacuating the bridge. They've been evacuating also the surrounding areas. Borough Market in particular, which was the scene of a terror attack in 2017, has been evacuated. It's a major site, very popular over here. And frankly, that part of London now has come to a standstill. But it is clear from some of these videos that we are seeing that a large knife was involved, that a number of individuals have been stabbed. But police responding incredibly quickly to this. That's because we've seen a couple of terror attacks on bridges in the past, and the police are ready to respond to them. There are mobile armed units in London moving around constantly, and that seems to be exactly what has happened here. We don't know the motive behind this yet, but we do know that at the moment this man is down, and there's no more activity on the bridge at the moment, but police being very, very cautious at this point.
Well, we remember, Benjamin, those terror attacks 2017 that you referenced both on London Bridge and Westminster Bridge. Different situation, vehicles ramming into people, but stabbings were involved there as well. So we'll keep following.
All right, folks, I'm going to say this. The incident was called in at 1:58 local time in London, 1:58 p.m. The police responded in 5 minutes. So by 2:03 p.m., those officers on the bridge, those of you who've seen the video, the officers on the bridge took action. They got the civilians that were on top of this suspect, the perpetrator, and they took care of business in 5 minutes. So that, to me, was impressive, that they responded to this incident that fast. What's disturbing and discouraging to me is that this is radical Islamic terrorist was able to walk freely and was invited to a conference. I'm going to put up on the screen, guys. Bear with me a minute here. I'm going to read to you about this subject. Okay, here. This is from a news. This is from the Telegraph. Okay. Hold on a second. Here we go. This is what I want to read to you here. I'm not on. You can come by. Okay, so the suspect, the perpetrator in this, Khan, we're going to refer to him as Khan, was convicted in 2012 for his role in the stock exchange plot, a Christmas bomb attack on the London Stock Exchange, the American Embassy, and the home of Boris Johnson, who was then the London mayor. As reported, when police searched Khan's home in Stoke, they recovered a folded A4 sheet of paper which bore notes of the structure, roles, and responsibility of individuals in a terrorist cell. It included the headline, Structure, Responsibilities, Communication, and Local, and appeared to be written by co-conspirators. Welcome to everybody that's joining. I'm not watching the chat at this minute. Just bear with me. I'll get to you guys. So this is what he plotted to do in 2012. He was put in prison and did some prison time. Khan pled guilty to preparing acts of terrorism. So this is a known terrorist to the authorities in London, and they allowed him. They actually authorized him. The people who he was paroled to authorized him to attend this conference today. You know, so this is a gentleman that shouldn't have been out on the street, and I use that word and that term loosely. He was released from prison in 2018 on a parole. They call it a license. Metropolitan Police Commissioner said in a statement, police said they were searching his Staffordshire home, and they believe he was acting alone. So here, ladies and gentlemen, now the police are in the middle of the night. I think it's overnight in the UK right now, or maybe early morning. And the police are conducting search warrants at his home to take all of his electronic devices, to take his computers, his laptops, his anything electronic-wise, and they're going to trace all of his steps, and they're going to trace what he did and how he planned, if he did plan it, if there was a manifesto, and they're going to go back and look at all of his electronic footprint, if you will. So, Hot Sauce Junkie Tim, thanks for joining. Linda, thank you for coming in. Yes, Linda, it doesn't necessarily have to mean more than one. If a terrorist acts alone and is planned with more than one, then it is a terror attack, Linda. So let me just be clear about that. A terror attack does not mean that it has to be more than one actor. It means that they just plotted behind the scenes with more than one, but one person can carry out a terrorist attack, as we know. All right, let's move on. Okay, here's another report.
Welcome back as we continue to track the breaking news out of London. An attack, an incident on London Bridge, and Nick Payton-Walsh is on scene now for us. Nick, what are you seeing as we await a press conference here in the next 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, and I should point out we are quite some distance away from the north end of London Bridge. Police, as you would expect, have put in a cordon, which is a sort of 2 blocks now distance for us. Since I've been here the last 5 or 10 minutes, we've seen 4 or 5 police support vehicles, some ambulance support vehicles coming in with their sirens blaring. Not much leaving the scene, which might suggest possibly that the situation is relatively under control. But at the same time, too, the British Home Secretary, the kind of Interior Minister, if you like, Priti Patel, tweeted about 45 minutes ago that the situation was, quote, ongoing. What we know right now from Metropolitan Police, and there's a lot of information out there, you heard from one eyewitness yourself, a lot of people saw this. It happened in one of the most vulnerable, most central parts of London, just at the peak of Friday lunch hour. People perhaps going home early, people perhaps out with colleagues. What we know, the 158 police were called to what they refer to as a premises in the area around London Bridge. There appears to have been a stabbing there. Emergency services attended, and then later on the police have gone on to say that they are treating this incident as though it is terror-related. They're not declaring it as such at this point because the circumstances are, quote, still unclear, but they are going on to add that one man was shot as a result of this. That tallies with a lot of some of the graphic social media video that's been out here. Now, the terror-related sort of designation we've heard so far, that is probably an abundance of caution on behalf of the police because of where this is happening, because of the sad history of a terror attack on London Bridge in 2017. But at the same time, too, you have to remember as well, there's a lot of gang-related violence in London possibly as well. The circumstances are still pretty unclear, and of course also this particular time of day in which the attack occurred is not necessarily peak hours if you were, for example, looking to cause as much terror as you possibly could amongst ordinary individuals.
These are early
here,
reports
the
now.
situation looks a little calmer. We've just seen a police van turn up here carrying away a variety of pieces of equipment, but very hard to tell precisely what's happening down at the bridge itself because the distance from which we are.
Thank you, Paul
from
Peck,
that.
for the generous super chat. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you, my friend.
Reports of a
All right, let me pause this for a second. Okay, guys. Love the super stickers. Love the super stickers. I'm able to send myself a free super sticker, so I sent myself a super sticker just to say thank you to myself and give myself a pat on the back. Summer Rains, thank you so much for being in here. Paul Peck, thank you for your generosity. Let me just look back at that. Thank you for everything you do, DutyRon. Thank you, Paul Peck. Everyone, go check out Paul Peck Drywall Tubes YouTube channel. He is a complete gentleman, and he is going to show you how to save some money on some home repairs. All right, let me go to the next one. This is a press conference. This is a press conference that I want you guys to see. It's actually a little long, but I think you guys need to see this.
I also want to pay tribute to the extraordinary
This is from
bravery
Boris
of
Johnson.
those members of the public who physically intervened to protect the lives of others. And for me, they represent the very best of our country, and I thank them on behalf of all of our country. Anybody involved in this crime, in these attacks, will be hunted down and will be brought to justice. And I think the message that we send to them and anyone associated with this type of attack is one that will be familiar, and that is that this country
Thank you, Summer Rains.
will never be
Thank you.
cowed or divided or intimidated by this sort of attack, and our values, our British values, will prevail.
Saddened and angered that our
All right, this is the
city of
police
London
commissioner.
has again been targeted by terrorism. It is with the heaviest of I am deeply saddened and angered that our city of London has again been targeted by terrorism. It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to inform you that, as well as the suspect who was shot dead by police, 2 of those injured in this attack in the London Bridge area have tragically lost their lives. My heart goes out to their loved ones and to the 3 further injured victims who I understand are being treated in hospital, and of course to everybody who has been affected by today's terrible and mindless events. The attack started at Fishmongers Hall in the City of London. My understanding is that police were called at 13:58, 2 minutes to 2, and City of London police officers had bravely and professionally confronted the suspect by 14:03, just 5 minutes later. If you are concerned about anyone who was there today, please try to contact them, and if you cannot, then get in touch with us. I want to thank all the emergency service personnel who are currently working tirelessly to deal with this incident, particularly the police officers from the Met and the City who have worked so closely together to protect the public. I also want to thank the members of the public who have helped, either by showing extraordinary courage and stepping in to tackle this attacker, or indeed by following the instructions they've subsequently been given by officers at the scene and in the area. This support from our public assists us much more than you could know. In the coming days, you will see more police, both armed and unarmed, patrolling our streets to help reassure those who are understandably concerned. Similarly, our counter-terrorism detectives will be working around the clock to identify those who have lost their lives, to support all the victims and their families. We are also working at full tilt to understand exactly what has happened and whether anyone else was involved. For this reason, we expect cordons to remain in place around the London Bridge area for some time. This afternoon, I met with the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary and also had a meeting with the Mayor. I'm very grateful for all their support. Indeed, we have been working closely with the government at every level and just as closely with our partners across London. This will obviously continue in the coming days. This joint effort mustn't stop with the authorities. As you know, we are treating this as a terrorist incident. Fighting terrorism takes effort and determination from all of us. If you have any information or indeed any concerns, please do contact us. The empty ideology of terror offers nothing but hatred. And today I urge everyone to reject that. Ours is a great city because we embrace each other's differences. We must emerge stronger still from this tragedy. In doing that, we will ensure that the very few who seek to divide us will never, ever succeed. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take a couple of questions.
Commissioner, do you think at this very early stage that you're saying that you really know anything?
This is a very fast-moving, dynamic investigation. We will keep you updated as we learn things. I can't comment on that at the moment. Again, a very fast-moving inquiry. That's obviously a very important line of investigation for us. Was this person involved with anybody else? If so, who? And of course, we will be working to minimize any threat there may be out there. I'm afraid I can't. That would be a lead for the hospitals and indeed the LAS. I can't at the moment. I'm not prepared to do that. Of course, it's an absolute priority for us to identify who they are and make sure that their families are informed. So I'm not going to say anything more, I'm afraid, about the two people who sadly died. I absolutely cannot confirm anything at all further at this stage, but rest assured we will tell you as soon as we reasonably can what we know about these people. But of course you would understand our priority is first of all to make a categorical identification, and secondly to ensure that their families are informed as swiftly and as properly as we can. Well, last one. I'm so sorry, I couldn't actually hear the question. So I think we've already put out an appeal. I would repeat that appeal that anybody who is in the area, anybody who has, for example, any video footage they think may be relevant, anybody who saw anything.
Okay, I'm not gonna make you guys listen to 8 minutes of that. So let's take this off. I have a few more. I have a few more videos that I want to show you, but I wanted to say hello to everybody. Hot Sauce Junkie Tim, Show Me Mo Graves, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Duty Blue, I already covered what you talked about. that he was attending a conference for rehabilitating prisoners. There was numerous prisoners or ex-prisoners in the audience there. So watch the replay. I've been live for 30 minutes now. This is, again, a prime example of the system failing the public, not only here in America, but in the UK and throughout the world. We're not living in a perfect society where everything goes smoothly. Okay, a lot of moving parts happened here. This guy was able to be out and free for whatever reason. They paroled him. They gave him early release, and it was just a big mistake. I know I would be angry. I would be tremendously angry. Ralph's Trucking, honk, honk. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for that. Ralph's Trucking banging out $2. Everyone go check out Ralph's Trucking. I feel that, at the end of the day, if you know somebody's history of radicalism in any faith or religion, you took a person off the street, you took a bad guy, a perpetrator off the street for plotting to blow up the stock exchange in London. I think the legislative, the judicial people, the justice system in London has a black eye today. To the Saturday morning, they have a black eye because what they did was effectively release somebody who has exhibited from age 20. When he was originally arrested, he was 21 years old in his first arrest, dating back to 2012. So 2012, he was a young man, and still at 28, he still has the same radical behavior embedded in him. And now he's out, and he's plunging knives into innocent people. Okay. It's a fine line that we walk on the justice side and on the, the police officers can only bring the bad guys to jail. The prosecutors have to take care of the rest of it. So many of you who are retired or active law enforcement know exactly what I'm saying. We as police officers, we can take in the bad guy or bad girl, but then it's up to the prosecution to do the rest of the duty, if you will. DutyRon, hey now, good to see you. Thank you for joining. You do it. So that's the end result here, is that we had a bad guy roaming the streets, and there's many of them out there, okay, who was released on early parole. We call it parole. You guys call it early. I forgot what the wording was, but at the end of the day, these are bad people. And if he had not been tackled, Summer Rains, thank you for that super chat, by the way. Thank you for the super love. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. If this person was still behind bars, this incident would not have happened, obviously. And, we need to have a system of checks and balances. When someone exhibits radicalized behavior, you have to think twice before you give them a second chance. Because most, and I say this, I'm emphasizing most, do not come out as model citizens. Most radicalized people, it's very hard to change them. It's not impossible, but it's hard. Yulfa, thank you so much for the super sticker, super love. Thank you for that, coming in with $3 super sticker. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful gal here in New York City. I appreciate you, and I thank you. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for watching my video. Leave me comments down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think. What I had to say tonight is brief. They're going to pull all of his electronic footprint. They're going to do a complete forensic sweep of all of his communications electronic-wise. And he will, his plan of attack, if there was one in place, the authorities will come up with that, and they will release that in the days to come. So, guys, if you're not subscribed to me, here it is at DutyRon, my website, DutyRon.com, DutyRon at AOL.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all one word, DutyRon. Go and check out my Facebook, YouTube video share group. It's a great group to be in. It's a great bunch of people. It represents all of you guys. There's nobody released on early parole there, I could tell you that. All the people that are inside my YouTube and my crime chat group on Facebook are all very good people. I vet them all very, very sharply, and anybody that slips through the cracks is quickly taken out. So, exactly, Susanna. You took the words right out of my mouth. You know, it's permanent. There's no cure. And earlier today, people, can I thank you for bringing that up, Susanna. Thank you so much, Susanna Warner. Thank you so much for you just put an idea in my head that I wanted to get out that I almost wasn't going to get out. Okay. So hear me out. Hear me out on this, guys, and then I'm going to close. I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to wish you guys a good weekend. Okay. If somebody goes out and plunges a knife into two people and then gets chased down on the London Bridge by an angry mob and an angry crowd, do you think that person is of sound mind and is mentally in the mental health area well? I would say almost 99.999% that person was not mentally well. And I said that today on my preliminary live stream from my vehicle. I did a mobile live stream for you guys, and I got a lot of flack for it in the comment section and on my emails. I don't ever, it doesn't bother me. But when someone tells me in my comment section, that person deserved to have justice and have a trial. Why did the police have to kill him? Why did you have to say that that person was mentally ill? Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the last time I checked, if you plunge a knife this big into two people or more, you're not mentally right. If you take a gun and go out and shoot another human being, your mental state is not correct. And we all have every right to say there's a mental health situation going on. There is a mental health crisis in America and throughout the world. And it's a fact. And I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it because it's the truth. We got mentally ill people everywhere that are not being treated the proper way and that are not seeking the proper treatment, and vice versa. It's ginormous, the problem that we have. But if somebody goes out and wipes out their family, they're not mentally right. You can't be thinking sound when you commit that act. So today I said this guy was not mentally right. And I promise you, because I have put handcuffs on people who have taken other people's lives, and they did not speak anything that remotely sounded normal to me. Hello, Paper Angel ASMR. Great to see you. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being in here. All right, so that's it. Thank you for putting me on track with that. And if you want to engage me in comments, leave me a comment down below. I have to go. It's Friday night. I got the missus in the next room waiting for me to come out and hang out with her. I promised her I'd take about 30, 40 minutes. Here I am, 38 minutes. I'm a man of my word, so at the 40-minute mark, I'm ending it. I'm Audi 5000. So let me say hello to a couple of people who I might have missed. MJ McCrae, thank you so much for coming in here. I appreciate you. He says, however, that said, the mentally ill pose more of a danger to themselves. They pose a danger to themselves and others. Not just themselves. They pose a danger to themselves and everybody they're around. Every contact a mentally ill person has with somebody could wind up to be dangerous, depending on the severity of the mental health issue. Who else? Judy is here. Summer Rains, Family First. There you go. Thank you. Who else? My good friend from Russia is in the building. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Thank you, Rupal. Good to see you. Josher is in the building. Michelle Vogel, my good friend. Happy 65. Happy 65. Good to see you. Thank you. Deco Paint and Tea. Deco Paint and Tea, love and respect. The B Lady Apiary, thank you for being here. Linda, love and respect, always. Boxing MMA, I left a comment on one of your videos tonight. Aaron Leahy, he wasn't saying that he should be killed just because he was mentally ill. Of course not. Let me clear that up because I might have missed that one. That the perpetrator from today's attack, well, yesterday in the UK, in London's attack, the perpetrator was killed by those police officers because he had a suicide vest on, and he showed them when they ripped those guys off of him. He unzipped his jacket and showed them that he had a suicide vest on. They had to use deadly physical force. There was no other way. They had to use deadly physical force because of his own actions. Not because they wanted to just kill him. They needed to take him out because he posed a danger to the rest of the public. That perpetrator was shot and killed because he wanted to be killed. It was almost suicide by cop scenario. He saw that he was done and he didn't want to go back to jail, and he said, here we go. This was part of my plan to terrorize people, but now the cops got me. I'm going to show it. And what were the cops supposed to do? Wait until that thing blew up and killed everybody? No. They pumped 2 rounds into him, and he was done. Good night. I won't shed a tear over that one. All right, guys, from my house to yours, love and respect. Thank you so much for being in here. Leave me a comment. 41 minutes. I'm in trouble. I got to go. Talk to you soon. Support your local military and your law enforcement, your first responders, your firemen, your paramedics, your nurses, your doctors, and all in the 9/11 field. Love and respect from my house to yours.